Okay, then. So we thought for tonight's show it was going to be the four interviews, but we've got a bonus fifth interview, and we're delighted to say that we're joined by Matlock Town player Al Byrne. Al, first of all, how are you, and how excited are you for Matlock's final game of the regular league campaign?
Yeah, buzzing for it, buzzing. Just a bit. I won't say there's no nerves going into it because it's a big game, but didn't really expect to be here. None of the squad did. So just after the season we've had, so more. It's a good feeling just to go into the last game with a chance to get the playoffs. There's a proud feeling there just because of the turnover of players we've got. A lot of young players, and we're still showing that resistance to just not be kept down, and we've still got that chance. So, buzzing for it. It should be a great day. Great day.
Yeah, but before we come to that game away at Marine, then this coming weekend, let's just have a quick chat about Matlock's most recent games, because of course you needed to win in order to take it to the final day to have a chance still of maybe getting the playoff spot. And it was a really tough game at home against Bamber Bridge, who were currently third, could still finish second, and you got the job done. You won 1-0. Just how, well, at the end of the game, what was the feeling like? Was it of just sort of like joy, or was it just sort of relief that you managed to get the job done and you've taken it to the final day?
A bit of both. It'd have been devastating to come that close and then fall short like the second to last game. So it's a good feeling that we've got every chance of making the playoffs going into the last game. But it took me back to a bit of last year against Warrington Town at home when we did make
Yeah.
the playoff last game of the season. It was sort of a similar feeling, a big buzz around the stadium, and I know the job's not done, but it was. I felt like everyone was just happy to be in contention for the playoffs going into the last game. All the squad, all the fans, and it was a really good day. And they're a good team, Bamber. So credit to them because they come. And it was a good game. It was a really good game. But again, we've shown that we can mix it with the playoff contenders. I know, proud. There's young lads in there, and people playing out of position, and then we 1-0 up, and then we dug deep. Second half was, some great performances, especially off the defenders, and I love wins like that. When we could have been 3-0 up at half time because we were good in the first half. Second half, they was probably a bit more on top, and we just shut them out. So it was a really good feeling, really good feeling. Last home game, because even if we get the playoffs, we won't be at home. So last home game of the season, and it ended on a real high, I thought.
Yeah, and I had a quick look to see what the crowd was, and again, it was another really good one for Matlock this season. It's really grown even since last season, which was impressive in itself. So it's just under 1,000, which is absolutely fantastic at Causeway Lane. How much does that help, knowing that this is probably the best supported Matlock has been for a long time now?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Just turn up to the ground on a home day, and you just see it filling out. I think back to I think my first game was at home against Morpeth, a few years back, just before COVID, and I'm sure James, the stat will be able to tell me the crowd, but I'm sure it was under 500, and the whole place has transformed from that when I first come in to Saturday, just chalk and cheese. Honestly, it was almost dull when I come in, whereas now you come and everyone's upbeat and there's a buzz about the place. The numbers have more than doubled, and it's a real good place to play football. And every single player in the squad appreciates that. They really do. That when we're at home, we're lucky because we've got a large fan base there that turn out. I mean, I think you was there last year at Buxton at home, and the
Yeah.
weather was absolutely. I know it was a derby, but it was torrential. But there was still massive numbers. So just in that short period of time, the fans have doubled, and it's so much more enjoyable to play the football there.
Yeah, no, so just for any listeners not aware of the exact scenario Matlock are in, so just one game left. Everyone obviously playing at the same time in the NPL Premier Division, Saturday, 3 o'clock. So Matlock is seventh, but you can still get fifth, which is the last playoff spot. So you're 1 point behind fifth. and you need to win. So you need to beat Marine away from home, and you've got to hope Hyde United and Radcliffe both don't win their games. If that happens, then Matlock will sneak in and get that fifth spot. And just first of all, how remarkable is it that Matlock are even in this situation? Because I can't lie, when the second managerial switch, because of course Paul Phillips was there, then he left. Craig Elliott came in, then he departed to Buxton, then Martin Carruthers came in. That's so much change because you've got three different managers, different styles, different thoughts on how the game should be played. It's pretty remarkable, isn't it, that Matlock still have a chance of getting in the top five spot?
Yeah, it's like you say, it's remarkable. It really is, because we started the season with one batch of players and management squad with their philosophy, and then we changed. And when teams change, they sort of go through a transition period of, maybe a couple of players leaving, a couple of players coming in, and they've got a bed in. So we had that, and I think we had a little dip under Craig, and then just as we felt like we was finding our feet and the squad was coming together, we had the another change, and then Martin's come in with his style of play, his sort of the identity he wants the team to have, and the players in the squad he wants to fit a profile. So again, we had that dip, which we did have. We did have a few, probably about a month and a bit ago now, and for me, I felt like it got away from us personally. I think one of the definitive ones was a double, two defeats. I think it was Whitby 4-1 and then Mask 2-1. And that's when I thought, that's our playoffs done. I just thought it was an impossible task. So then to come back from that, and our recent run of form, coming into the business end of the season, it's proper, really impressive. With young lads being in there, we've had Bamba, we've had Marine, we've had some tough games. Belper away, going down to 10 men after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Drew 1-1, and you look back and you think, could have won it. We had so many chances,
Yeah.
but to draw that, again, real resilience, just to get that point, because that point might be, the difference come 5 on Saturday. So it's remarkable is definitely the word, but there's a proud feeling there, because I've seen all the change from the start of the season through Craig and then Martin, and all the changes of personnel, and to still be there or thereabouts at the end of the season, I think that's took some doing, and it has been tough at times. It's been really tough at times, and even like what people won't understand is like the training venues, the training methods, the personality clashes, not in terms of arguments, but just you're getting used to someone, then they go, and you got to get used to someone else and how they want you to. And there's a lot of demand on the players that have been there from the start. I know there's not a whole lot, but and then also the players that you're playing with. There's been so much change over 6 to 8 months. It's been crazy. So credit to all the players and the staff that have pulled together and got us there.
Yeah, and how do you compare this to sort of last season's last regular game of the season? Because obviously it was basically the same situation. Well, not quite, but Matlock were already in that final playoff spot, so they needed to make sure that they won, and that would guarantee them. So slightly different to last season. But do you think this time around there's not as much pressure, because obviously Matlock had been in the top five for all of last season, so obviously it would have been a huge disappointment if you just dropped out right at the end. Whereas this season, Matlock have probably only featured in the top five maybe for like 2 or 3 weeks, really early on. Do you think there's not as much pressure going into this season's last game?
No, there's not as much pressure. It's a strange one, because last year there was a load more pressure, but it was a lot more comfortable, I thought, because it was in our hands. There's no, we do our job and then see what other people are doing. So it's less comfortable, because I've been thinking of the game all week, thinking of this scoreline, that scoreline for us, but then you've got to think about someone else's, and I never enjoy that. But then going into it last year, there was pressure, because if we dropped off, and we got beat, I think it might have been by Bamber Bridge, and they beat us to the playoffs. we'd have been called bottle jobs and whatnot. So there was a lot of, hidden pressure there for the lads. Whereas now, no one's go back a month, 2 months, and people wouldn't even mentioned us, in the race for the playoffs. So now to be there, there's no pressure because we weren't expected to be here, and now we're here. We're just going to go out, try and do our job, and like I said, we've just got to keep our fingers crossed and hope that results elsewhere go our way. But we need two lots. It's not just one; it's two lots,
Yeah.
which doubles it up.
Yeah, makes me think of the old footage. Well, say old. I mean, it makes me feel old just saying it. Like even back in the 90s when people had their radios to their ears, like portable radios, to try and find out what the other results were and what the other
Yeah,
scores were before smartphones were a thing. So I guess there might be a little bit of that going on at Marine on Saturday. But just for yourself personally, Al, because obviously you had a fantastic season last season at Matlock. And you've also had a really, really good season this time around. And you've reached a personal landmark. You've actually just surpassed 100 games as a Matlock player, which is really quite some achievement because so many players have come and gone in the last 2, 3 years since sort of like the COVID seasons. How proud are you of that landmark achievement?
yeah, immensely proud. I really enjoyed being at the club, and I've loved every second of it. And it was probably added to it that it was just a surprise. I didn't even know I was anywhere close to it, and then I just got told, "Oh, that was your 100th appearance." But no, that's a really really big achievement, and I'm proud of that one. I looked at the list. There's some good players on there. Mr. Yates is on there. One of my good mates, Ozzy Radford, is. So to be on a list of, and obviously there's loads of legends on there. They're just the ones I know. But it's like I said before, when I first come, the club feels and for me looks a lot different to now than when I first signed, and that's the biggest achievement I think. Just in terms of how many people come and watch it, and how sort of we are playoff contenders now. So if we weren't there this season, I know we only got there once last year, but we sort of become a force to be reckoned with, and it's been brilliant to be part of that. So I've not just had 100 appearances of playing and taking part. I've had 100 and a couple of appearances of being in a good team, of winning games, and trying to go places with the club rather than just coming mid-table or just sort of like this stage of the season seeing it out. We're still going for something, and that's the 100 appearances is a massive achievement, but 100 appearances going for something, that's the biggest part.
Yeah, fantastic. And just finally, then, before we wrap up, Matlock support has been absolutely fantastic, like really, really good, especially last season and this season as well. And it does appear to keep growing. So a huge, huge game coming up on Saturday. I know it's not at home at Causeway Lane. It's quite a long trip to Marine, but I know there'll be a lot of Matlock fans that will come out for this one. Have you got a sort of like a special message for the Matlock supporters who'll be coming along to hopefully see the club secure a playoff spot on Saturday?
Just a big thank you from me and all the players for this season. Last season, I know all the players appreciated it then. But just like I said about the 100 appearances, over my time, they've been absolutely brilliant. I always stay and talk to them, and they always come over and talk to me. And they're always, there's never any idiots. There's never you're this or you're that, or they're always mega supportive to every single player, as they have been during the tough times that we've been through this season in terms of changing personnel. And when we have had a dip, there's no getting on our backs. They come, they support, and they do exactly what they're supposed to do. They support us during them times, and you're like, oh, that's a bad result. They're the first ones to come over and just say, it don't matter, we'll go again next week. And that's brilliant to be part of. And I know a lot are going to make it down on Saturday, so we really appreciate it. But the ones that can't, we really thank you for the support that you give us this season. It's been nothing short of amazing, and it does push us over the line like Saturday going into the dying minutes. Just gives us that little bit extra to hold on and to give the club hopefully another playoff contention. But ultimately, that's what we do it for, them fans. So thanks a lot.
Okay, Great stuff, Val. Well, I was pumped up for the game already, but now I'm really pumped up, and I really wish I was there in Marine. I'm not going to be able to, but I will be keeping up to date minute by minute to find out what's going on, and hopefully get to see Matlock in the playoffs. So, all the best, Al, for the game against Marine. Hopefully, you get the job done, and hopefully, the teams that Hyde and Radcliffe are playing can get their job done too. So, thanks for your time, Al.
Nice one. Cheers, mate.